All right. Hi, Juhi. We are live. A very warm welcome to one and all on LinkedIn. uh, Welcome to the eighth episode of Amazing Entrepreneurs Season 1. This is the eighth episode, and today joining us is Juhi Santani of Retale Design. Before we get on to retail design and talk about Juhi and the amazing work she has been doing, a quick introduction about what Amazing Entrepreneurs is. Amazing Entrepreneurs is a series of conversations with business leaders and entrepreneurs who are trying to build up something meaningful. It is often glamorized, the entrepreneurs, the entrepreneurial journey, but seldom people speak about the hustle and the hard work that goes behind building such beautiful brands. So, through these conversations, we are trying to put some light on what is the kind of hard work that goes behind, what is the kind of hustle that goes behind, the long to-do lists that never get over, and the highs and the lows and the rounds of investments that go behind building up these businesses. It's never easy. So through this episode, we'll be talking to Juhi Santani, who is a principal designer and a founding partner of Retale Design. She has been into this industry for last 20 years. And today we'll be getting some pieces of wisdom from her about how her entrepreneurial journey has been. She started off as an interior designer. Brands have always interested her, and that's how she got into retail design. Founded Retail Design in 2003 that creates physical experiences for brands at retail level. Hi, Juhi. Please let's start with a few lines of introduction from you, and then I'll be having my set of questions for you.
Hi, Amrit. It's a pleasure to have to be here on Tapsstart Digital series, and thank you for having me over. Some words about retail design, like you mentioned, we've been around for 19 years this year, and looking to our 20th year in the coming year. I started retail in 2003, and that was like the beginning of modern retail, structured modern retail in India. It was just about 4 or 5 years old in India back then. Policies were changing. The whole market ecosystem was evolving because of the change in policies towards retail investment, the FDI in retail, etc. And that was a very exciting time to be in retail. The fun part of this journey has been that every 4 or 5 years there is some radical transformation of this industry, and we are constantly evolving ourselves as a team, looking at new kinds of businesses, new approach to creating a physical experience to retail. So it's been extremely exciting to be a part of this industry. Yes.
Awesome. We often start our sessions with asking the entrepreneurs about how your business is trying to solve a problem in the society. So how would you go about answering that?
So one problem that most retailers and hospitality brands face is that they want to be present everywhere, and at a rapid pace. So, when these brands look at expansion across geographies, they actually need a lot of support, not just internally in terms of projects, in terms of visualization, in terms of figuring out first what their brand should actually look like. And a brand is an evolving journey. People like you and me understand that, right? It's not a constant. So, how do you handhold a brand through this process, and especially of creating a physical experience? So we design stores and we help brands expand across various states in India, which in itself is a mammoth task. And in the past, sometime we've also been working with some of our client brands for their presence in the Middle East and some other countries. So that's the kind of problem we are trying to solve, that, they're able to expand rapidly, keep the consistency of their brand story, and get an identical yet exciting, fresh new message across to their customers, through their spaces. That's the problem that we're working on. Yeah.
Superb. So talking about entrepreneurship as a journey, building brands and building something as amazing as you have in this last 19 years. I want you to highlight a few challenges that there are about entrepreneurship and the best part about entrepreneurship according to you.
So the best part, I'll take that first. I think when you're an entrepreneur, you realize that you're the one who's solely, completely accountable for everything that your team puts out there, into the market, into the business. The buck stops at you. That's really the best part, and it's the most exciting part. It's also the most challenging part. It's the same thing, really. Where you are accountable for everything that goes right, which is a great thing. You're also accountable for everything that goes wrong, and you've got to have your eyes and ears to the ground everywhere, all the time. You are on high alert, high vigil. What has gone in? What's on the mail? What did a team member of yours speak with your client, or how did they deal with the situation? Yes. So you are completely accountable. The buck stops at you. Yeah.
Superb. I think this is something that you rightly said can be also put as the best thing, and also as a challenge that entrepreneurship has, and very well, I think, very well answered. Uh, while building this kind of a huge thing that a retail design today is, helping brands put their best foot forward when it comes to giving experience to the customers at the last mile. Uh, this journey is not easy, and talking, burnout is something that we often speak about with entrepreneurs. How has burnout as a situation been in your case, and how do you handle it?
So as retail designers, we sit at the cusp of two industries. One is interior/architectural design. That's what the background of most of my team is. And the second part is that we specifically cater to retail industry. And both of these are high burnout industries. It's the way both these industries individually have been handled traditionally. And when I started out, that's the environment that I came from. And I think that was my first resolution, that when we are in a creative space first, burnout has a hugely negative impact on the kind of output that we present to our clients, or the way we present our clients to their customers. And we've consciously built in a non-burnout thing into the way we operate day to day. So we are fairly flexible on our office timings, but we're very clear that people are not working beyond 8-9 hours. Some days it's inevitable, but the underlying thing and a constant messaging that goes out is stop, it's the end of day's play, go home, right? We also talk about that all our team members should inculcate hobbies. It's something that I hold very close to my heart. And these are conversations we have all the time at work. Like, what else is somebody else doing besides work? So, that's how we sort of target the negativity of burnout and try to keep it out of our working environment. So it starts with me, and it's an ongoing conversation.
Perfect. So at an organizational level, I understand that you have a practice that is set in your organization, but talking about you at a personal level, how do you manage burnout? Because I think our viewers who are trying to pick some inspiration from your entrepreneurial journey want to know about how at a leadership level, in the personal capacity, when burnout happens, how Juhi Santani manages it.
I actually draw and paint. If I have a really, really horrible, stressful day at work, I usually try to end it with doing something that's as far away, remote. I mean, you may say that in some ways sketching goes back to design, but no, I keep it completely different. That's one thing that I do. Yes, work is constantly on one's mind. I may not take calls beyond 8 p.m. and before 8 a.m., but work is constantly on one's mind. So I use my hobbies, my sketching, like a form of meditation, and I make sure that Some days are still rough. Amrit, you can't say that we will not burn out. You can only
Yes.
work against it, but it's one of those complicated things.
I think burnout for entrepreneurs is inevitable. It is just that it must be worth it, and that depends on what kind of journey or the domain we have picked to pursue entrepreneurship.
Burnout is
And
never worth it. So there.
it's like you have to choose, that where do I want to burn out? Is it which area do I want to burn out so that it's more tolerable?
You could put it that way.
Yeah, but then I think it's highly critical to proactively have a plan in place to deal with it.
Yes, and also I think we should network enough as entrepreneurs, not just amongst the industries that are directly relevant to the kind of work we do, but generally to network enough with entrepreneurs, like what Tapsstart is doing right now. Just making sure that entrepreneurs can reach out to somebody else. It could be different sets of people, it could be peers, it could be mentors, it could be anything. So I think that is very, very, very important to sort of balance. Sometimes you can keep burnout away just by recognizing that, I'm not the only one, and, not stress ourselves out, or it's not really about, somebody can come and tell you it's not really about long hours. So, things like that, very meaningful conversations within the community. I do have a set of entrepreneur friends that I reach out to all the time, and they're not necessarily from my field. It's good to have backup systems like that and reach out.
Yes. Yes. That's the essence of the community at Tapsstart Digital that we are trying to build, is to create a space where entrepreneurs can spend time, either unwind, have meaningful conversations and meaningful connections that can, turn out to be an asset in the future. Well said. Tell me, while we agree that entrepreneurship is not an easy journey, uh, being a woman, how it has been for you? Because we often come across conversations of how the society has been responding to women in leadership roles or in the entrepreneurship. So how has it been for you? You're coming with a huge experience of starting pretty early. If we talk about retail design, 2003, it was back then. How has it been for you?
So I think first thing, especially when you start early, and I think that's irrespective of gender, is that you want to be taken seriously. And as women, I think men struggle with the same thing if they are early entrepreneurs. How serious are you? Is it a passing whim? I think the first bridge that as an entrepreneur I need to cross, and especially as a woman entrepreneur, is really to take my work seriously. Which means that what is the messaging that I'm sending out to the world around me? How serious am I about what I'm doing, right? It's an extra challenge for women because I think we've always been conditioned that put family first. You should put humans, your team, your family, everything first before, just general progress in terms of your business, have like a balance and perspective. But essentially, women, a lot of women-led enterprises are seen as, if you don't mind my saying, iska to backup hoga, isko kya fark padta hai? Yeah, how do I know she's serious enough? So, I mean, it's how deeply you believe that your work is serious for you. That's the vibe that you send out into the world, right? So it's very, very important. First thing, my first tip is just believe, send out a message, never be ashamed that this means a lot to you. The enterprise that you're setting up or that you've been running or nurturing as, almost equal to a baby is important to you. So, and never be ashamed of that. I think that's the first tip that I would like to give, especially to women entrepreneurs out there. And prioritize that way. We've always been told, put family first. That's like a messaging that's constantly going out. I have nothing against that messaging, but you can put family and work equally, like a lot of men entrepreneurs do. It's fine. There is no shame in that, and operate from that space. And you'll be surprised how much support you get from everyone. And I've been extremely fortunate. So that's the first tip that I'd say: take yourself seriously. Absolutely build a support system around you. Never be ashamed of that. I mean, it's fine. Nobody ever progressed in this world alone. That's the kind of species, race we are, as humans. There's no shame in asking for help. There's no, and absolutely delegate, delegate, delegate. I mean, keep an eye on everything, but delegate all the time. Those
Yes.
are my 2 tips. I mean, that's how.
I think first thing, proactively own the narrative about your business and establish that yes, you're serious about it, and yes, the whole thing is the primary thing that I'm doing, and it is not a passing wind. It is important for you to proactively take control of that narrative about your business, about yourself, for what you're doing, and secondly, I think. Uh, the situation with uh, the failure rate of startups and companies in India is poor, that about 80% startups don't survive beyond 3 years, and more so that we have done our research, and it says that a lot of startups, about 6 to 57% of the startups fail because of the knowledge gap and the inability of the people to efficiently manage their businesses. They are either micromanaging, they are unable to delegate, unable to build a team, or as we said it, that unable to seek the support or help that an entrepreneur needs, because you can't do it alone. And that mindset, the entrepreneurial mindset, which is absent because either it is the formal education, or either there is no enough support system in the Indian startup ecosystem, or the business ecosystem, I should say. It's a key thing that I think audience must take away from here. And we have been repeatedly talking about this in almost all our sessions, that please go ahead and ask for support, build a support system, seek help. You will be surprised that how many people come around and really give you that hand of support and help. So that is one thing. All right. So moving to my next question, Juhi, have you ever faced a situation where you have had to say no to your client, and how do you manage that situation while you don't burn your bridges and with the client, and at the same time also you put your point across?
Happens to us all the time. When you're in a creative field with nothing tangible to sell, right? It happens all the time. You do your numbers, you pitch for a project, and the client will tell you, try to negotiate you down to 30% of what you quoted, or 20% of what you quoted. So it's a regular thing. It's about communicating. It's about making the client understand what it takes, what kind of time and effort it takes to put out an intangible out there. And so that's always been a challenge. And yes, we do understand that there are projects that we need to walk away from. And it's always a huge debate within my team. So trust me, saying no to a client is not an easy one. Especially when, as a philosophy, we think that no work is too small, right? Everything is potentially a doorway to something exciting, interesting. Yes. We are like a bootstrap startup ourselves. So, we understand that retail startups come with small budgets and huge challenges, and are always scared of setting up a physical space because it costs a lot of money. Let's face it, it's the largest capex. But there are times that we've had to say no, when you do not find that common ground of, understanding. It does happen. But I do think that most brands are on a journey, the way we are on a journey. All startups and enterprises are on a constant journey, and it's important not to burn bridges. But yes, defining how low it is possible for one to go, either financially or how much to stretch on a project. It's important to set those boundaries. They may be shifting goalposts, depending on the situation, because I can't tell you, Amrit, that there are hard and fast rules. These, like I said, these are constant conversations that happen within the office. how is it, should we accept this or should we say no in under these circumstances? So, but we have said no, even if it's not too frequent, but yes, where things have not been in our interest as much.
Definitely, it's never easy, while we say that accepting business and delivering it is highly, the most vital part of your business. Saying a no to a client is it's not easy. It is you have to be
No, one
diplomatic.
red alert that I take as a red flag absolutely in the beginning. आप करिए, आपको बहुत अच्छा experience मिलेगा. It's the kind of thing a lot of clients begin with, and I see that as an absolute red flag. It's an exchange, and nobody's doing anybody a favor. So sometimes that mindset is typically a red flag. I mean, let me tell you, in my 19 years of journey, it's become more and more of a rarity. So I see that as a good thing. But in the beginning, especially when you are freshly into enterprise yourself, आपको तो experience के लिए करना चाहिए.
Experience मिलेगा.
I also have
Yes.
bills to
I don't
pay.
know why. I don't know why clients are again going towards the old traditional concept of a barter system, and they don't realize that the barter doesn't pay the bills.
Exactly, absolutely.
Yes, yes. We have a question in our comment section on the live stream. It's from Mr. Murli Narsimhan. Wonderful insights, Juhi. Compliment for you. He's asking a question about how do you deal with setbacks, and what is your approach to maintaining your sanity?
Go home, cry. I mean it, not in front of your team. Vent out whatever is a safe space for you, and then get up and get back to work. That's it. I mean, I don't have a secret to dealing with setbacks. I have friends, like I said, entrepreneur friends and personal friends. I go rant, whine, be done in personal space, and come back to the team, ask their opinion, go ahead with it. Whatever we arrive at. There is no other formula. Thank you, Mr. Narsimhan.
I think, Mr. Mulli, the answer over here that I can, help you pick up is just go and vent it out. Venting is important because if you don't vent out, it just, keeps on building. And then, as entrepreneurs, we want to maintain the composure and not want to blast out at a point. So I think venting out is something which proactively helps, is what Joey is saying. All right. Thank you so much for attending this question. Talking about goal setting, Juhi, how do you practice goal setting in your organization?
So I'll confess, I'm not so good at it. I've been learning. I've been teaching myself goal setting, and we've been working on it collectively as a team. I think the only mantra that I've learned from a lot of people around me whom I've spoken to, that it's not one of our strengths, we're constantly like chipping away at work, but sometimes we're not so good at goal setting, is the one thing that I progressively define a slightly higher goal, where I am today, to the next level, to the next level, to the next level. The only thing that I'm focusing on is that a goal should appear achievable. And if I, as a leader, can define the path to reaching that goal, that's when my team can strive to achieve it. Be a part of that goal setting process. Do not delineate yourself saying, ab tumko ye karna hai. Yeah, I don't think that's how things work. Yeah, I've tried that as well and failed. So it comes from experience, what I'm saying right now. Yeah, be a part of that goal setting process and include everyone. I think that may be working for us now.
Correct. I think this is one of the thoughts that we got from one of our previous sessions as well, about including your team in the process of setting up goals and not just enforcing them on your team. There's a huge difference in the output, and also things are more realistic, achievable, things like that. Juhi, tell me, when operating this business, it's been about a couple of decades now. How do you look at your competition, and how do you deal with it?
In the beginning, I used to obsess about competition. I mostly don't think about that part anymore. I only focus on which way are my clients going, what is their next goalpost, and how we can help achieve those. And really, competition doesn't matter, because you have to be better than what you were yesterday. I mean, I know it might sound stupid, but I think obsessing about competition is a waste of my energy. That's how I look at it. I might as well invest that energy into building something positive, which is building a better understanding of what my industry is like, and what are the new goals and destinations that my clients are trying to reach, and how can we help them with that. Why bother with competition?
Yeah, exactly. Why obsess with the competition while you must be aware of what is happening around you, focusing on how you can build a better version of your product that you're offering, the services that you're giving, and how you can take it to another level is something that can help you progress in your journey of your business. All right, so a few quick questions. Are you an avid reader?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so we need 3 book suggestions from you.
So, book suggestions, you mean work related for entrepreneurs?
It could be how they could help the entrepreneurs, aspiring ones, those who are already in the journey.
Yeah. So I'll be honest with you. Till recently, I've not been into business books. And now suddenly I found a completely, resonating love for business books. But I've been a reader since I was a kid. I mean, I've always been reading. So I've punctuated my reading with some business reading, but took it more like homework earlier. And it's only recently that I don't really look at business reading like homework. So there are some books that I have enjoyed tremendously in the past, and there's some I'm in the middle of reading right now. So one that as an entrepreneur, I would like almost every entrepreneur to read is Simon Sinek's Leaders Eat Last. You don't really, I think the title itself says it all, but it's an amazing book. It's about how you build an ecosystem around you, where as a leader, you eat last, right? You prioritize yourself right in the end, and you value your team and those efforts way more. I thought that really resonated with me. The second book I would recommend is Psychology of Money. I missed the name of the writer, but it's excellent. I mean, what I took away from that, it's basically about investment, really. But I think as entrepreneurs, we are forever obsessed, if I may say, about making our enterprises financially viable, about making money from them. And, our world really does, even if you don't want it to, revolve around the financial aspect of building a business. And I think Psychology of Money gives you a lot of perspective. I think each one of us would have a different takeaway from that. So I will not focus on the takeaway from that book. It's really a personal journey. And the third one, which I'm in the middle of reading right now, I'm not even completely through with it, is Elizabeth Gilbert's Big Magic. Yeah, I was in a workshop a few weeks ago, and the person in the workshop, Lulu Raghavan, she recommended about reading Big Magic, and I'm just so thankful to her for this suggestion. It talks about creativity and not being scared of creativity. And really, Amrit, if you think about it, if we are entrepreneurs, we are nothing if not creative. And, are we getting too bogged down and hiding our creative light? By creativity, I don't necessarily mean people in the arts, which is what Elizabeth Gilbert talks about, but each one of us, where we have the imagination part of our existence, how do we keep that alive and not let it get bogged down by fear? I think that's a book I'll highly recommend, even if you're not into a creative entrepreneurial profession, but please read that, just to keep you going.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I think People are really going to love this. The name of the books that Juhi has just suggested, recommended, will be available in the comment section. All right. So, talking about team building, it's been a long journey already for you. How has team building been for you, and how do you have your team management rituals in your organization?
I'm extremely fortunate in the team that I have. We're nothing if not our teams, right? I mean, our teams define the very core of the organizations that we are. We do have our, we don't really have our daily rituals, Amrit. We do have more like weekly rituals. We make sure that we have, sort of touchdown meetings, review meetings. But one core philosophy that we have, and it's something that I repeat time and again, is that first, trust your colleagues to do what you're expecting them to do. So do not bear down on them on an hourly or daily basis at all. So we steer clear of daily rituals. We say, this is what we are trying to do this week, and tell me how will you go about it, and then just let them
Allow
be.
them
It's their call when they want to come back and touch base with you. Sometimes new team members, when they go through that phase, an initial phase, they come back for several reviews, and I tell my team, ease that off, just let people operate on their own, have confidence in the work that they are putting out there, believe in it. You will always have inputs about how this can be done better, but don't breathe down anybody's neck. So daily rituals per se, nothing. We sometimes don't even track how many, when somebody came in and when somebody left. We tell them in general, sort of be authentic, be committed to what you're doing, manage it. But obviously, I mean, there's a system in place to monitor everything, but we're not daily rituals kind of people.
Correct. So talking about, managing the teams, how do you keep them motivated?
I think I bore them with a lot of conversation, which is non-work. I tell them this is how we should be talking to their clients. This is how we should talk to our vendors. This is how we should build an ecosystem. Yesterday, we were trying to figure out where is our next holiday. And if we get that new project, everybody comes to know, everybody's really excited. And how do we keep motivated? They keep me motivated. There's ice cream or something or the other happening every day in office. And I think if you generally have a trusting, happy environment at work, we don't have to give any motivational talks. Not that I refrain from. I'm sure I bore my team quite a bit. But I'm just saying that if you can, in general, trust each other and keep an eye on the quality output and make everybody accountable, that's the true motivation.
I think as a leader, if you're able to give a good work life to your team, I think motivation already I think more than more than half the part of motivation is already done. And I think that's what entrepreneurs must take away from this conversation. How your thoughts have been in terms of managing your team, letting them be, believing in them, and giving them those little moments and little things that keep them up and going. And one thing that I really liked about what you said is they keep you motivated.
Though they do, it really is. I mean, you should not look at motivation as a one-way street. How can you? You're just a human. Even if you are the boss, there's so much that comes. It's really a two-way or a multiple-way street. When you have your down moments, who's going to see you through? Your team is going to see you through.
Awesome. All right. So let's talk about one of the most buzzing topics on the internet these days, Web 3.0 and Metaverse. And you being in the visual design and experience space, I'm too excited to ask you about how have you imagined your business in Metaverse or the Web 3.0, and what are your thoughts on it?
So maybe
I can already imagine people wearing the VR headsets and just experiencing the stuff. But you're more of
I should ask the millennials and the Gen Z on my team, how do we look about this? I really have no answers. We, as all in a day's work, we are creating virtual reality and then translating it into physical reality. And here in Metaverse, you talk about almost no physical reality. So I think I will pass on this question to my team and ask them, how do they visualize? Because we're constantly creating imaginary landscapes for our brands that we sort of partner with, and you tell them this is what you should look like. That's our imagination. We're creating a future for them and then making a physical reality out of it. So putting that on Metaverse shouldn't be so difficult.
No, not at all. In fact, that could help you be at the top of your game, going forward.
Potentially, but I have not really thought about implication to our enterprise. I think it's a
But it is
question I'm going to
exciting.
take back to office. Yeah.
It is exciting. All right. Before I head to the last question for this session today, we have another question from Mr. Murli on the live stream that in these 19 years, you must have dealt with a lot of customers and a lot of repeat customers. So the main question is about customer loyalty. Is it overrated or is it something that has worked well in your favor?
It's worked well. We've had a lot of clients who've come back. In fact, right now we're working on a project where we first designed something for that client, I think in 2006 or 7. And out of the blue, they reconnected last year. And we have multiple instances of where folks who've been on client teams have moved to different organizations. I'm sure a lot of people in services will come back and report that to you. And, they've brought new ideas and new projects, had conversations with us. How do we do this and all that? So customer loyalty has really, it's something that I would advise everyone to deeply invest in, and not just with an agenda or that I should get work in the future. With a simple human to human agenda, build good relationships, genuinely try to help your client team. Everything is not about money. And, they are pitching to their internal customers within their teams. How do you help them? Yeah. While protecting your own interests. I'm not saying do a lot of freebie work. No, that can be a tricky ground, but genuinely see how you can help. Don't get too limited by what is on the contract to a fair extent. But but I know sometimes we've overdone it. So I will sort of take a rain check on that as well. But customer loyalty is huge. I mean, it's a huge payback. It has a huge payback. It's great when you're able to. I can boast of clients who've become friends and without, like I said, any agenda whatsoever. Genuinely build good relationships. It always helps.
I think while it is highly organic, if proactively done with a genuine intent of building relationships and delivering top-notch service quality, I think this is something that you rightly said can pay off really, really well in the long run. And as an entrepreneur, it is not only about the tactical and the short-term goals that you're looking at, but also you're building something. And when you're building something, I think these are the, this is a vision I think one must have for having a long-term, what I can say, base of well-wishers and good customers who potentially can come back to you again and again. And 15 years is a long time. I think 2006 and then 2021, 2021, someone coming back to you.
They called us on a landline.
I'm sure, yes.
You can imagine, it was one of those things. Yeah.
And I think if you have ever wondered about why do I even have a landline today, that must have answered your question.
Otherwise, you sort of just attribute only junk calls to landline, but there, yeah.
Yes. So, customer loyalty can pay back in surprising and unexpected ways. So, dear entrepreneurs, keep on, having a good intent towards the solutions you serve and the relationships that you build. You never know, something might come back to you in some, uh, you know, in a surprising way. All right. So, heading towards my last question that I ask everyone. Uh, um, I think three most challenging things, if you can just highlight. You have already spoken about how entrepreneurship is challenging, but what I want to know over here is, what are the current three challenges, since we encourage the culture of being more open about the challenges you face in the community. I want you to highlight the three current challenges that you're facing in your business, and what are the three biggest learnings that you have had in your experience.
Uh, Three current challenges. One is post-COVID. I think that's true for the entire planet. The industries that we service, retail and hospitality, have really taken a beating. But we are certainly on a bounce back. So the challenge right now is building the team to the next level. That's a challenge that we're really, really working on. We are in a creative environment, that's the kind of work that we do. So predicting the future, that's another constant challenge. Okay, this is what we are today, but what is my client, what is their ecosystem going to be like tomorrow? So that's the second challenge that we constantly. And the third final one, which I think I will say in terms of related to COVID, is liquidity is a huge challenge. you know, market is upbeat, but in certain industries, liquidity can be a huge, huge challenge. So those three, what do you say? What is the next part of your question?
The three challenges that you currently are facing, and the three biggest learnings in your entrepreneurial journey that you have had for our people on live stream.
Like self-doubt is normal. Just normalize it. Yeah, accept it and go from there. You're never going to be perfect, and it's all right. Do not look at others, especially in the world of social media, and think and beat yourself down. You don't know what their true story is like, right? So do not compete with others. I think, especially as an entrepreneur, that's very, very critical. And I don't know, quick success is overrated. And what is success even is overrated. So I'm not saying I'm like some saint or something. I want to grow to the next level all the time. But the important thing is growing to the next level and not chase a hypothetical definition of success. I think that can sometimes be so draining on what we are trying to do. Do not let that come in the way of achieving. Your notion of success should not come in the way of achieving success per se.
So I think it's important to put it out that success is not a point or a destination. I think it is a situation of growing and evolving constantly, and being able to do that consistently is what is, I think, success. And even small businesses who are starting newly, the very fact that you are able to move from the current situation to a better situation and constantly evolve into a better version of yourself, of your business offering, or touch new and new heights is a matter of success. And it is not a point that you reach one day and then, like, okay, now I'm successful. It doesn't happen that way. It's a curve, I feel. And you eventually, sometimes you are daily successful, sometimes you are at little things, and these are the things that form your journey as an entrepreneur. Superb. Before wrapping up, any closing statements, Juhi?
Just keep at it.
Just keep at it. Just be at it. Thank you so much. This session was amazing. I had some really good insights from this session for our audience, and I'm sure people really had some meaningful takeaways. We would love to catch up with you offline, Juhi, and all the best with the work that you are doing. And thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Amrit. Thank you so much.